Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you like this episode, please remember to hit the like button and leave a comment or two, then subscribe and click on the bell to receive notifications of whenever we release new videos. Also, please remember to share them to your social media. The elderly man made his way through the early morning twilight toward his garage door. His house was silent as his wife slept in their bed, wrapped in the warm covers and comfort. Pulling open the man door to the garage, the old man searched the wall for the light switch as his eyes adjusted to the darkness. As light streamed from the fixture, he could see a huge black shape coming into focus only a few feet from him. As the 300-pound bear stepped toward him, the man backed up slowly as he reached for the doorknob. Seeing the man's hand grasping the knob, the bear quickly swatted it, ripping gashes in his flesh. Backing up into the house, the man stumbled as the bear gazed angrily into his eyes. Falling down into the hallway, the man watched as the bear rounded the corner, only feet from him, and down the hall. His wife heard his screams and peeked through the bedroom door to see the enormous bear standing near the dining room. Welcome back to Scary Bear Attacks. Just above the town of Tahoe, there's a steep stretch of highway known as Kingsbury Grade. It connects Nevada and California and meanders its way up the mountain, sparsely covered in trees and brush. The dim glow of porch lights is the only clue that the area has any human presence on the nights of early winter. This place overwhelms visitors with its rugged beauty, especially in late fall and early winter. The quaking aspen trees shimmer, displaying their gold resistance against the cold, barren winter. Lodgepole pines climb the steep mountainsides like a slowly moving army. The air can be crisp even in summer, but by late November it carries the smell of wood smoke and the promise of coming snow. Mule deer often cross the roads at dawn as bighorn sheep move between rocky outcrops while searching for the last bits of autumn forage. Mountain lions, though more hidden, slip through these same shadows, hunting quietly at night. Coyotes, opportunistic as ever, trot boldly across driveways after dark. Black bears, the dominant predator of the area, roam freely between the forests and the neighborhoods, where houses back directly into the wild habitat. It is a region where wilderness brushes right against human living spaces, sometimes literally. Around 4:30 a.m. on November 20th, 2025, an elderly couple was sleeping comfortably in their beds. Both being 87 years old, the husband, whom we'll call Brian, and his wife, whom we'll call Betty, were living out their retirement plans in the beautiful mountain setting of Tahoe. Their home, built in a rural development alongside Kingsbury Grade, was surrounded by forest and wildlife. Brian was an early riser and always found something to do before most people were hitting the snooze button on their alarms. It isn't clear if he was awakened by noise coming from the garage, or if he was trying to get ahead of his honey-do list for the day. Either way, Brian found himself navigating the hallways of his home, making his way toward the garage door. It isn't clear if recent bear incidents crossed Brian's mind, but there had been a few. In 2024, a black bear sow, known as Bear 182, had been raiding cabins near the Kirkwood area. Authorities euthanized her after tracking her raids throughout the neighborhood, but her skill set apparently was passed on to her cub, known as Bear 1975. The male black bear had been relocated after raiding cabins and taking to hanging out around a children's camp. On June 7, 2025, Bear 717 had developed quite the rap sheet with local authorities. He'd been captured, tagged, and relocated in 2021 after breaking into vehicles and cabins near Meeks Bay. After he was relocated the most recent time, he charged campers to access their food. After finding him inside an unoccupied cabin on Meeks Bay, the wildlife officer's call to euthanize him was regrettable but easy. In June 2025, a sow with 2 cubs broke into a camp trailer near Eagle Point Campground, near Emerald Bay. An injured camper was all it took for authorities to decide to euthanize her and send her cubs to a wildlife rehabilitation facility. Recent droughts and mast failures of berry crops were said to be a contributing factor in the bear's behavior, but that explanation doesn't make the neighborhoods and developments around Tahoe safer. As Brian reached for the garage door knob, he had no idea what awaited him beyond it. It isn't clear if the couple possessed a firearm or bear spray. The presence of a dog was not indicated in any source I could find, but it is clear that he and his wife had no idea that a hungry bear had taken interest in their home. Pulling the door open, Brian watched a sliver of light pierce the dark garage as he searched the wall for the light switch. Once the room was filled with light, his eyes adapted to the brightness and took in a frightful sight. A large black bear stood only a few feet from him, causing him to freeze in his tracks. As the bear stepped toward Brian, he reached back to grab the doorknob to close the door. The bear swiped quickly with its paw, ripping several gashes in the back of Brian's hand. Now terrified of the advancing bear, Brian backed away from the garage door into his home, but lost his footing and tumbled onto his back. The bear stepped right past Brian, entering the hallway to the kitchen and dining room and onto the bedroom where Betty was sleeping. Brian's cries as the bear advanced toward him likely roused Betty from bed as she peeked from the bedroom to see the huge bear standing near her dining room. Betty could hear the bear's claws tap against the hardwood floor as it came in her direction. Moving as quickly as she could, Betty tried to flee to Brian's side, but the bear took this as a sign of aggression. With a powerful swat, the bear opened up several gashes on the back of Betty's hand, in a similar fashion as it had done to Brian. Now near each other, Brian and Betty began yelling at the bear, banging on anything within their reach. The sudden noise and foreign environment of the home likely confused and scared the bear. It quickly made its way through the garage door and escaped to the forest. Now bleeding and frightened, Brian and Betty called 911 and requested medical teams. Paramedics responded to the scene and rushed them to a nearby hospital via ambulance. Their minor injuries were cleaned and closed. The couple was released to heal at home, though the terror of the incident would stick with them well past convalescence. While the couple was being treated, wildlife officers who responded to the scene mulled over what actions should be taken with the bear. Catching and tagging problem bears was their typical protocol, and relocating them was one of their final steps before euthanization. They knew that identifying the bear who had been involved would take searching through the few hundred bears in the area. It would be like looking for a needle in a haystack, albeit a needle with large, sharp claws. Regarding the bear's motivation for the home invasion, authorities recognized its behavior as being food-driven. Given that the bear was not hibernating, it may have been in poor, declining health, leading it to search for food in areas where it wouldn't normally. It wasn't a predatory attack because the bear didn't try to kill and cache the couple for later consumption. There were no cubs present, so it was not acting in defense of its offspring either. Speaking of cubs, our Cub Tier membership on Patreon, linked below, will give you ad-free early access to episodes, photos, and notes. And the $3 per month goes a long way in helping me continue to produce educational and entertaining content like this. After reviewing the facts surrounding this episode, I'm left with a few questions for you. How much longer can the Tahoe Basin sustain this growing pattern of human-bear overlap without more severe outcomes? Will warmer autumns continue to delay hibernation and push bears deeper into residential areas? Do you think it was the bond that Brian and Betty shared for so much of their lives that ultimately drove the bear away? Sounds like an episode of Romance Corner. I will gladly read and reply to your thoughts, so post them in the comments section below, and let's talk about it. Thank you for watching Scary Bear Attacks. If you've enjoyed this episode, please consider clicking on the like button and clicking on the bell icon. We'll help you know when we post our new episodes. Posting our video links to your social media profiles furthers awareness, and it's fun. We slashed our prices in our merch store, linked below, so check out the bargains there while you shop. As a member of our human community, remember to adventure bravely and be careful out there, especially in bear country.